All right, lots to talk about tonight regarding some new developments just over the last few hours, and this is big. It started when the feds today shut down Mega Upload, the file sharing service that apparently has more than 150 million registered users and 50 million daily visitors. Now it's accused of taking away $500 million from copyright holders. So the founders and employees of Mega Upload have been charged by a U.S. grand jury with copyright infringement, and at least 7 of them have already been arrested. Now, in response, the largest attack ever by the hacktivist group Anonymous. They attacked and successfully shut down the sites for the U.S. Department of Justice, the U.S. Copyright Office, Universal Music Group, the Recording Industry Association of America, and the Motion Picture Association of America. Now, you may have heard of some of these Anonymous-related hacks in the past to take down other government websites, but never have they gone after so many at once.
Hey, what's up? It's Kim Kardashian, and I love Mega Upload because it's fast and safe and amazing.
Hello, Congress of the United States. We are Anonymous. We are here to address the current situation on the recent shutdown of the file-sharing website, Mega Upload. Yes, there was a significant amount of copyrighted material being downloaded for free, but in our eyes, shutting down the website was not an effort to stop piracy. The piracy indictment upon this site will not go unpunished. We have gained access to the servers of the United Nations, Sony PlayStation Network, Microsoft XPL, US Bank, Chase Bank, Capital One, YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. We are prepared to unleash a full-scale global blackout of these websites and gaming networks exactly 72 hours of releasing this message if Mega Upload is not reinstated to the internet. We have access to banking and credit card information of millions of citizens. To those who support Soapapeepa, to those congressmen who want to vote yes on these bills, you have been warned.
Here's the plan. We get the warhead and we hold the world ransom for $1 million.
Daddy, what's a frontal lobotomy?
Well, son, you know how the pressures of life can cause people to do crazy things. And if a person does too many crazy things, then that person is crazy. Sometimes you can keep yourself from going crazy by doing things to relieve tension, like drinking or having sex. But if craziness goes too far, sometimes the only thing left to do is to cut out that part of your brain that makes you crazy. That kind of brain surgery is called a frontal lobotomy. Maybe this song will help you understand what I mean.
It's time for Fully Threaded Radio.
It is Fully Threaded Radio, voice of the FCH Sourcing Network. If you've been moping around today because you lost all your files on Mega Upload, we're glad you clicked into the podcast today, and we'll do our best to cheer you up with the finest and predominantly Fastener-related talk radio. Hi everyone, Eric Dudas here, and I'm joined, as always, by the co-host of Fully Threaded. He's a man who's proven to the world that even a simple sheep farmer can rise up to succeed in the online Fastener game. He's Brian Musker.
I wouldn't say even a sheep farmer. It's a very honorable profession.
Indeed. Well, I take it all your files are either safely tucked away on your Mac or perhaps they're up there in your Dropbox account. Would that be true, Bri?
That would be true. I have to say that I can't quite imagine what anyone relating to the fastener industry would be uploading stuff to the Mega Upload site, but still.
Well, apparently a lot of people were, because I don't know if you saw the news reports. This guy's mansion was just insane. I mean, it was like something out of the British aristocracy, I'd say.
Yeah, he was doing quite well, with his German and Finnish passports and Hong Kong and New Zealand nationalities. Okay, he was living in 4 countries.
Yeah, well, this thing had quite an international mix to it, that's for sure. And we're going to talk about that a little bit more. But right now, why don't we get with the download of Fastener info? What do you say?
Yeah.
Hey, everybody, this is episode 38, and we're publishing on January 28th, 2012. We're really glad to have you with us. We've got Mike McNulty of Fastener Technology International with us today, and he's got the Fastener News Report for us. During this edition, he interviews Jason Sandifer of GlobalFastenerNews.com. They discuss the 2011 Fastener Industry News end-of-the-year survey results, and also round up the Fin Stock Index for last year. Our feature segment on this episode is one that many of you have tuned in to hear, I'm sure. It's a conversation with the former Heads and Threads CEO, Mr. Mike Wrenn. The shocking fall of Heads was undoubtedly the top story of last year, and there's a poignant moment or two in this segment, and we were honored that Mike allowed us to share his thoughts on this. And he also discusses his current role with Bright Invest International, as well as some of the new offerings that are making their way onto the market from that company. Plus, in just a few moments, we'll be joined by Joe Poplinski of Beacon Fasteners and Components. He joins us to share his view of what's happening in the world fastener-wise right now. So it's a show that should be worthy of being pirated someday. What do you think, Bri?
I don't think we need pirates. We need to spend all our time just making sure we maintain our excellence that keeps us way ahead of everyone else in this industry.
Excellence, is that what we're calling it now?
Yeah.
Well, we've got high hopes. You can't take that away from us, right?
Right.
Today's episode of Fully Threaded Radio is brought to you by our title sponsors, and they are Stelfast, with locations across North America, including their newest in Los Angeles. For service you deserve and people you trust, it's Stelfast. Also, Beacon Fasteners and Components. Their stylish new line of machine screws is in stock and looking sharp. Beacon Fasteners. Nice threads. Well, thanks again for clicking in, everybody. We really do appreciate it. And I hope you'll communicate with us and let us know how we're doing, or if you simply want to comment on Brian's funny accent, that's okay too.
I don't have an accent. It's everyone else that has an accent, okay?
That's right. You keep reminding me. And no matter how you want to draw the line on that one, you can get with us at the email address ftr@fullythreaded.com. And we're also out there on Twitter, and our handle is fullythreaded. Plus, we use Facebook to post some links for follow-up information on the show, and of course you can comment up there on any of those or submit your own. We'd be quite happy to read those. Get with us any of those ways, and one way or another we'll talk to you.
Yep.
Hey, we're the people who bring you FastenersClearinghouse.com, everybody, and that's a sourcing network for the fastener industry, and we hope that you're out there whenever the need arises. If you have a hard-to-find fastener inventory item or a part you just need to find a new source for, get out there to www.fastenersclearinghouse.com. Use the search engine. It's pretty self-explanatory, and deal directly with any of the distributors who are members. If you're a company who's looking for another sales channel, we'd be thrilled to talk to you on that subject as well. We're easy to get with through the Fasteners Clearinghouse website, and we look forward to hearing from you.
Right, and we're coming pretty close to 700,000 lines now. We'll be 750,000 pretty soon.
750,000. Wow, that's a milestone, huh?
Yeah. A long time ago, we wondered if we could ever get near there. Now, that's sort of just, to us, something we'll pass on the way to get to 1 million.
Wonder how many pages you need if that was all printed out in a book.
A lot, actually.
Well, I suppose that's a topic for another show.
Right, yeah.
Well, other Fasteners Clearinghouse news, or FCH Network news, we've got an exciting week this week because probably, as some of our listeners are listening, it's the open survey period for the new Fastener Distributors Index, and we had Holden Lewis of BB&T on the show for episode 37, and he was describing some of the ins and outs of that, and people have been responding to the surveys. It's great seeing all that come in.
Right, and we would like you to make sure you don't leave the emails in your inbox too long. I mean, there's a very limited window where you can fill in these surveys. They've been designed to be very concise. Okay, it's not one of these things that goes on page after page. You never know when it's going to finish. This thing is all over and done with in one page with about 5 questions, and it's been aimed to make it so that it works effectively and answers or asks just the questions that are needed in order to gauge, how the industry is really doing. So we look forward to starting to get some, pretty good information out of this, as does Holden.
Right. And he'll be on Fully Threaded for the next episode with the results of the first survey. So that'll be in February, as well as he'll have a report in the next issue of Fastener Technology International magazine. That'll be the February issue. And so it'll be the inaugural FDI report. And if you have no idea what we're talking about with the Fastener Distributors Index, if you missed last episode or you haven't seen some of the press releases, go out to fastenersclearinghouse.com and click on the news page, and there's a story there with the press release. You can get most of the details there.
Or you can go to www.fdisurvey.com and go straight to that site.
You can also request an invitation to participate in the survey there. And we're trying to just get one individual from each company to participate. We don't want to double count any one company. So send your invitation in if it's something you're interested in participating in. And if you're a fastener distributor, we sure hope that you'll do it.
Yeah.
All kinds of new things for the industry. And on the subject of new things, the American Fastener Journal is publishing a new online magazine. I guess it's an e-zine, actually. And they're collecting email addresses for that at a feverish pace, as I understand it. Someone sent me a copy, and I see our buddy, Rick Finnow, has a story in the premiere edition.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Now, here at Fully Threaded Radio, we're a little bit famous for straying off the beaten fastener path, some might say.
No, only rarely, okay?
Well, but keeping it fastener related, even for those hardcore audience members, I think Rick did us up proud. In this story, he has a short tale about what happened when he, his family, and their buddy Freddie Myers, a wounded Iraq war veteran, wound up after a Buckeyes football game in a restaurant and ran into one of the players. Well, let me tell you, I could totally hear Rick's voice in this piece as I was reading it, and I hope everyone who reads this will make sure to send him an email and let Rick know that you read this thing and give him a pat on the back. It's a good story, and Rick, you did a good job.
And even if you did have to take a few moments off from working on your car, okay? It's probably too cold at the moment.
Now, something tells me Rick's workshop is fully equipped to support 12-month-a-year auto restoration. But I like in this one part where he says that he experienced TEB syndrome during this event that he describes in his article. And TEB syndrome is teary eye buildup.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So in keeping with Rick's character, this is a great story. Good job, Rick. We're going to hear from Jason Sandifer of GlobalFastenerNews.com in a few minutes. And there was a story on their site the other day we should point out, because it's not every day that a fastener company makes it to 100 years in business. But congratulations are in order for bolt manufacturer Portland Bolt.
Oh, wow.
That's right. This story is dated January 24th, and it's headlined, Portland Bolt Celebrates 100 Years.
Wow. Well, anyone who's ever used the web knows that Portland Bolt turns up occasionally in searches, especially if you're searching for information about bolts and standards. They have a great set of pages on their site, which I've used numerous times.
Yeah, you're always referencing that. Mm-hmm. It says in the article here, their current markets include power and energy, marine construction, steel fabrication, mining, pole line, light rail, highway construction. And here's an interesting factoid. In 2011, they shipped over 6.2 million pounds of anchor bolts and construction fasteners.
Wow.
Yeah. Also interestingly, and pretty timely too, in 2011, they exported to 32 different countries.
Wow, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I like the sound of that. So 100 years does not come easy for any business, and especially a fastener manufacturer. A lot of them, of course, have not made it. And General Manager Greg Lindsay says in this story that they attribute their longevity to their ability to adapt to an ever-changing marketplace.
I bet Mr. .com of Mega Uploads wish he'd learn how to adapt a little bit quicker to the the problems with the piracy laws.
What a story, huh? First we had the blackout, right? The internet blackout, and Wikipedia was down, and all these big name websites were blacked out in protest of the whole Soapapeepa thing. Then just a couple days later, we get this giant story splashing across the web that the feds had taken somebody down in New Zealand, of all places. One of your compatriots probably was living right down the block.
Well, I don't think he was a compatriot of mine, but he could have been a compatriot of when I was living in Germany, more likely, I think. However, he had safe haven in New Zealand, and I'm sure he was living very well there. But the New Zealand cops got him, and I see they've just denied him bail too.
Well, apparently this was the 13th most frequently visited website, and I personally was not a user. I was actually not even aware of it, so that tells you my familiarity with this whole genre of website. But the world just keeps getting weirder and weirder. I mean, this was like a Dr. Evil situation.
Yeah, I mean, it shows you that our use of the web for ordinary commercial purposes is clearly very boring, because I'd never heard of this Mega Upload site myself.
And one of the stories I read said that they actually ran their operation on over 1,500 servers, and they had them spread across the U.S. and in Europe. Well, that's kind of humbling. You know, we've got our whole FCH running on one mid-range sitting in a closet, right?
It's a little bit more than a mid-range, and it sits in a very, very, very secure location, not in a closet.
Well, yeah, it's a nice closet.
It's very nice. I mean, I don't think you and I even have security clearances good enough to get in to even have a look at it.
Well, anyway, the point is this whole Mega Upload thing was just ginormous. And so at the top of the show, we had this threat that was put out by the hacktivist group Anonymous, and there's a lot of question about whether or not that was even an authentic or authentically issued YouTube piece, but I don't know, I kind of got a kick out of it anyway. But again, it's just getting weirder and weirder.
Yeah, it is really weird. And so where did these anonymous guys turn up?
Well, you know, I'm not probably qualified to give a complete history of Anonymous, but they first came into my awareness when they were protesting, of all things, the Church of Scientology. And then they became linked up with the Occupy movement, sort of like they were the ominous electronic terror / enforcement branch of the whole Occupy thing. And you can read about this. I mean, it's all explained online, but now here they are, kind of like Robin Hood's Band of Merry Men, and they're protesting Soapapeepa. I mean, it's like a spaghetti bowl full of issues now, and they're all entangled. I mean, it's weird.
Right.
But the question is, if the feds could do this, with all this international law enforcement, and they could pull off shutting down this domain, arresting the executives, impounding millions of dollars in cash and assets, what do they need Soapapeepa for? I mean,
right. And that's the question that it's like the emperor's new clothes. The question that people have asked after they stopped this, well, why do we need, what were we going through all this hassle to create really draconian laws that we clearly don't need them? Our existing laws seem to have quite enough power.
Well, as evidenced by this episode, I wonder if, I don't think that this is a coincidence. It can't be. I mean, they coordinated this to make some kind of a point, but it seems like it would have backfired. And I do agree with you. The Soapapeepa provisions, based on the analyses that I read, are clearly misguided. They would have such a chilling effect on the internet that it's just not worth it. I mean, these are things that we have to resist.
Right, it's this little way that you slip gradually into massive government control. And this is just another little thing that, it sounds very reasonable on the surface, and you realize what really is in it, okay? The ability to basically shut down anything on the internet at will.
Yeah, very, very scary stuff. Well, it's scary times.
But it's not scary in the fastener industry, okay? Everything's good.
Well, Brian, you and I always seem to have this knack for getting way off the beaten fastener path.
It's not that far off.
How do you tie this one back into fastener related?
Yeah, I'm not sure on that one, actually.
Yeah, well, we hit a little bit of a dead end, but luckily we've got somebody on the line with us now who can probably help us to make a pretty clean segue, and that is from Beacon Fasteners and Components, Mr. Joe Poplinski. Hey, Joe.
Hey, guys. How are you doing today?
Pretty good, mate.
Yeah, not too bad. Our website for the moment seems to be passing all federal mandates.
Very nice.
Right.
So you're a guy who knows the fastener industry pretty well, but what are your impressions of this whole hoopla surrounding Soapapeepa?
Without getting into the specifics, I take a back seat and I kind of see the humor in it from the political standpoint, that you've got two major contributing factors, two major contributing industries at odds, and both of them are big contributors, and they're trying to please everybody. And yes, how it kind of ties back into the fastener side, and I see it similar to how we look at our materials department. We want inventory turns high and we want fill rates high, two opposing forces that don't always work hand in hand together, but they have to. So it's a little unique spin, to say the least.
I hope you have much more success than the government does when it tries to satisfy two opposing things.
Well, we like to think we get things done a little faster, at least.
Yeah, you mean within a lifetime?
There you go.
Now, were you much of a megaupload.com user?
No, not myself, but I'm sure a few of the folks here played around a little bit.
Well, apparently somebody was. I mean, the dollars these guys were bringing down, it was insane.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, their servers were located all over the place, and I guess there's a little parallel to Beacon, huh? You guys are you're looking overseas too. What do you see in these days with the international fastener world?
Thankfully, we continue to see a relatively stable market. Helps us and our customers customers manage their business a little more effectively, I would think. But from a cost of materials, labor, everything seems to be relatively calm yet. Obviously in China there's a big to do with regards to the EU and how that's affected their business. Major decreases over the last couple months just with all the uncertainty over there. But really, from a currency standpoint, a steel standpoint, everything seems to be moving in a very, very tight window, which again could change overnight, but we aren't seeing or hearing anything that leads us to believe that. Myself and our Director of Materials, Diana, she and I are heading over to China and Taiwan in a couple weeks here. So we'll get the first-hand look and listen to what all of our friends and suppliers are having to say. But we don't expect any major surprises this year. So knock on wood that holds, and we're able to project our business a little bit more effectively over a semi-long term, so to speak.
Is everything sort of progressing according to the usual in terms of the whole Chinese New Year season?
Yeah, that was a little bit earlier this year, which we've seen a lot of as customary. The factories try to move as much product out the door as possible before the new year, and you'll see a fairly sizable bubble of product coming and then a little bit of a lag for the next couple of weeks. But we're in the midst of that right now, so the communication's a little bit slower, but it doesn't seem to be anything surprising again. We'll see what happens with regards to the returning workforce in China after the new year, which that again seems to be the factories we deal with anyway are not predicting that it will be as volatile or as changing as it has been in future or in previous years. I'm sorry. So all is pretty much status quo as far as we're seeing right now. So a comfortable stability, I guess, is what I would categorize it as right now.
Okay, and what about near-term pricing? Any information you can share on that front?
Again, most of our products are steel and currency driven, driving the costs, and most everything we're seeing now is relatively modest moves, not major decreases, not major increases. We saw a softening of prices here over the last month or so. That seems to have bottomed and slightly corrected itself. So again, most of our suppliers are not projecting a further decrease in cost of goods, which I think is playing itself out here. Again, we've obviously watched our prices on a monthly basis, and they've moved a point or two over the last couple months, actually over the last 6 or 7 months. So we're expecting more of the same right now. So nothing dramatic, nothing that's telling us to buy more or less. Not that we would hedge ourselves on guessing, so to speak. We buy, as most of the large importers do, buy on a monthly basis based on what you expect to sell or need in a future period. So, but we don't see anything, again, that tells us that we should be beefing up inventories or lowering them at this point.
And what are you looking at domestically in terms of the overall market? Anything in particular that you have your eye on?
From our standpoint, it's still extremely positive. I'm, very, very optimistic with regards to where we stand and from what we're seeing and hearing from the customers. 2010 was a good year. 2011 was an even better year, and we have even greater expectations for 2012. 2012, we're all in with the machine screws, which we've talked about numerous times, but we will have 12 full months of having that product line in our four walls and servicing them like we have our other products. But as far as the actual markets themselves, if we're seeing a slowdown anywhere, or if there is a slowdown out there, we're not seeing it today. Hopefully it's a sign of an improving economy and an improving business environment. But if it's not, I'm happy to say that we're continuing to see our numbers grow at or above the rates that we're projecting. So the bottom line is we're having fun, and a lot of our customers seem to be in a very good mood, optimistic mood. You'll run into a few market sectors that are a little bit concerning, military spending and so forth, but overall we're excited about it, and Beacon's got some really unique stuff coming down the pipe. Hopefully we can announce one major enhancement to the way we go to market by March 1st, and it's not an electronic type deal, so you can kind of discount that for the people who start to think things a little further ahead. But we've got some really unique things that we are almost to the point of putting signatures on the bottom line and getting to a point where we can announce it to the market. So, and the first one, if all goes well, we'll be making a relatively large announcement come March 1st, and then one later in the year. So we have some fun stuff, exciting stuff going, and it's all based on building on what we've done over the years and what our customers have told us. They really appreciate how we do things.
Well, that does sound exciting. Well, we got something to look forward to in the near future. Of course, anyone who hit the fullythreaded.com website would have seen that you're running a promotion on that site, and I hope folks will take advantage of that. That's running through, the end of February you're running this promotion, Joe?
Yeah, it's kind of, our marketing team gets a little crazy at times, and this time I would say they've gone over the top, but it's a leap year, so you can't discount anything other than machine screw pricing. So you'll see the customers who tap into that special will see that we're serious about the line. We're serious about getting more and more traction, and we might be a little off our rockers when it comes to the promo, but we're going to get some attention with this one.
I think that might be how some of your promotions have gone in the past. That's what attracted us to Beacon. I remember for you some of these really amazing ads you're producing.
Yeah, we like to throw some creativity into the things we do. So good homegrown service with a little flair.
We got to get Bob out here one of these times and have him do one of these kind of crazy Bob from Beacon ads, like the car dealers do. I mean, that's what you got to have him out here doing. He's nearly giving it away, folks.
I tell you, really, all you need to do is tap into some of his personal stories. Some of that stuff you hear where they say you can't write this stuff, that's exactly what it is. I mean, he'll have rolling and crying. His stories are hilarious.
Okay.
I'll get on him for that. That's Bob Wagner we're talking about, folks. He's the head honcho over there at Beacon.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, Joe, you have successfully rescued us. I think that was a solid batch of 100% fastener-related information, and I think with that we can kind of get the rest of the show going on a good course. Appreciate that.
Yeah, I appreciate the opportunity to say hello again, and we'll be in touch as the months and quarters and years go by.
You got it. Hey, it's Joe Poplinski with Beacon Fasteners and Components, and we'll be right back.
2 men, 1 server, a fastener dog, and a stunning lack of more lucrative alternatives. It's Fully Threaded Radio.
When top quality and outstanding service are at the top of your list in fastener suppliers, turn to Stellfast. Since 1976, Stellfast has grown to become an industry-leading importer and manufacturer of the highest quality industrial fasteners, specialty items, and automotive parts. Our array of facilities across North America and in Asia, along with full quality control labs and ISO 9001-2008 certifications, ensure the highest quality parts, and at Stellfast, they're delivered with undisputed service excellence. We're family-run and dedicated to your success. Our customers have come to depend on the expertise of our staff and the quality of our products. We also offer a wide range of secondary services to meet some of the toughest requirements you might have. Contact Stellfast today through our website at www.stellfast.com and put us to work for you. Stellfast. Service you deserve, people you trust.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 2012 Beacon Fasteners have arrived to redefine the notion of superior engineering. See one and behold the ultimate synthesis of form and function, style and substance. Hear one as the head turns with inexorable force. Touch one and feel the fire-forged steel standing in stark contrast to the sleek and graceful lines of the body. But to drive one, to drive a 2012 Beacon Fastener is to experience a harmony of power and performance that surpasses all expectations. At any speed, at any torque, each 2012 Beacon Fastener model offers a level of handling unparalleled in its class. A feat made possible by the knowledge acquired through rigorous and systematic test driving, conducted at our own industry-renowned proving grounds, nestled in the heartland of America. And with the 2012 model year, we proudly introduce the newest high-performance addition to our lineup, the Machine Screw Series. Call toll-free at 800-669-2658 for your own private consultation with a Beacon representative and learn a whole new definition of performance. The 2012 Beacon Fasteners have arrived. Drive one today.
FastenersClearinghouse.com. Search and source from over 500,000 line items, all just a mouse click away and available at no charge. When the need arises, you won't find a better place to locate hard-to-find fastener inventory. It's where you need to be.
This is Joe Truckee of Cal Fasteners, and Fasteners Clearinghouse works for us.
This is Robert Wanzer, and Fasteners Clearinghouse works for American Imperial.
This is Andy Pels from ScrewCrew.com, and FCH works for the fastener industry.
Join the sourcing network now and show your inventory to a whole new market. Turn slow movers into cash. List up to 10,000 line items. Show them to distributors only or to the world. FastenersClearinghouse.com. It's where you need to be.
Hi, this is Lou from the Olander Company, serving Silicon Valley for the past 50 years. You're listening to Fully Threaded Radio.
Brian and Eric, back with you. All fastener hits all the time. You know, I didn't mean to give the impression that Beacon Fasteners is in any way like the racketeers over at Mega Upload. Do you think it came across that way, Brian?
It could have sounded a little that way, but we know that's very, very, very far from how they operate.
No, what I really meant was they have operations internationally, and they're ready, willing, and able to help you out with anything you need, all
Right.
legally, as evidenced by the fact that their website is up and looking pretty good, I might add.
Yeah.
And we should also point out that if you go to fullythreaded.com, I know a lot of you right now who are listening are probably streaming the show from the Fully Threaded website. You got the pop-up box that came up, and Beacon is running a special right now that you probably saw, and that thing is insane. I mean, the discounts they're giving on their machine screws through February during this promotion. I hope you'll all jump on that, folks.
Right. So remember, even if you do just plug your iPhone into your computer to get the latest of the podcasts, make sure you go out to Fully Threaded, fullythreaded.com, and then you'll see the latest little offering from Beacon there. It's worth having a look at.
Absolutely. Yeah, we don't talk about users using their iPhones and BlackBerries as much as we used to, but I know more and more people listen to the show on their mobile devices, and that's really cool.
Right.
FTR is available off of iTunes and an array of other podcast sites.
Well, hopefully some of the extra 37 million iPhones that Apple just sold, some of them will go back into the fastener industry. People can use them.
You're all fastener industry all the time, Bri.
Right.
Good man.
I was going to say, Andy Pells would say I'm not the slightest bit biased towards iPhones as opposed to Android devices.
Oh, give me a break.
Thanks, Andy.
Well, up next, we've got the Fastener News Report, and Jason Sandifer of Global Fastener News is featured on today's edition. And they're going to be talking a little bit about the end-of-the-year Fin survey, and they've been doing that survey since 1979, Jason was telling me. And so a lot of surveys going on at this point, but don't get them confused. We've got the Fin survey, which we're going to talk about, and then on FTR 39, we'll have Holden Lewis with us to explain the results of the first month of the Fastener Distributors Index. A lot going on over here, folks.
Right.
And once again, we sure do appreciate you tuning in, everyone. And we'd like to thank our title sponsors on today's show, and they are Stelfast and Beacon Fasteners and Components. Also, today's edition of the Fastener News Report is brought to you by Volt Industrial Plastics. Here's Mike McNulty.
Thanks, Brian and Eric, and greetings to all the Fully Threaded radio listeners out there. This is Mike McNulty from Fastener Technology International Magazine, bringing you the Fastener News Report, which is sponsored by Volt Industrial Plastics, makers of the world's finest plastic fasteners. As we near the end of the first month of 2012, we have our matchup for Super Bowl 46, which is the 46th straight year that the Cleveland Browns have failed to qualify. I don't have a prediction yet, but I am favoring New York so I can watch the mental unraveling and moping of New England's head coach genius, Bill Belichick. Regardless of the outcome, one thing I know for sure is that I will engage in a large caloric and visual feast on Super Bowl Sunday, all the while staying focused on the fastener industry. In today's top story, we're going to look at the Global Fastener News end of 2011 survey results, as well as the Fastener Industry News Stock Index performance over the last year. Also in today's report are 8 newsmaker headlines and the back page of this report featuring facts and thoughts on the Republican primary elections. We will get to all of that and the Global Fastener News story right after this.
Volt Industrial Plastics is the source for all your high-quality plastic fastener needs, and customer service is their #1 priority. With almost 1 million fasteners in stock and same-day shipping on stock items, Volt Industrial Plastics carries inventory so you don't have to. Volt manufactures everything in-house from over 125 different materials, and they're proud to say 100% of their products are American-made. And of course, custom tooling and in-house bagging is available. Contact Volt online at www.voltplastics.com. Volt Industrial Plastics, makers of the world's finest plastic fasteners.
Hello, my name is Anne-Marie Hoftailing with the Hoftailing Group. and I am pleased this year to be working with PacWest Fastener Association to help its members have its best business year ever. My company is focused on sales and business development, and together we're going to help the PacWest Association members increase their bottom line through unique workshops, webinars, and yes, even some private consulting time. So make sure that you are engaging your membership benefits. Come to the events, enjoy the workshops, log on to the webinars, and give me a call, because this year we're going to make sure you have the most powerful sales force you've ever had.
Mike McNulty.
Since 1979, Fastener Industry News has provided Fastener executives with timely Fastener news through the publication of its print newsletter, which has evolved into the globalfastenernews.com website, providing up-to-the-minute Fastener industry information as well as details on Fastener stocks, the stock index, the Fastener industry calendar, the end-of-the-year survey of Fastener professionals, and much more. To get an update on the end of 2011 survey and the stock index, we talked to Jason Sandifer, contributing editor of Global Fastener News.
Hi, Jason. Thanks for joining us on the Fastener News Report.
Happy to be here, Mike.
I know that you guys have completed or just completed your annual end-of-the-year survey of Fastener professionals, and I know it's a highly anticipated result that you guys publish. And I was wondering if you could tell us what kind of results that you're seeing and what you can share with us at this point.
Sure. Regarding last year, no surprise. I think everyone knows by now that sales and profits were up for most people. What we found were that most companies were reporting only a moderate cost increase. And the interesting thing was that while sales and profits were growing, nearly 4 in 10 companies cut their workforce. So it's kind of indicative of maybe a larger trend in among corporations are figuring out how to function leaner to grow sales, but not their workforce. Wages rose as well, with half of companies giving pay increases, but most of those increases were 1 to 5%. For the coming year, from what the companies are telling us, fastener prices are headed up, as are costs, though again, costs are expected to rise moderately. And what we found interesting were that companies told Finn they are overwhelmingly optimistic about increasing sales and profits this year.
Well, that's a good type of optimism.
Definitely, especially concerning the North American economy, where we found that confidence was high, with nearly 40% of companies surveyed by Finn expressing high to very high confidence in the domestic economy.
That's good.
Yeah. Some of the comments that we received reflected that as well. One distributor commented, "We're seeing a pretty good year coming." They said that reshoring will get the U.S. economy going again.
Okay.
Another distributor said, "Buy American is coming back." Actually, this was a manufacturer that said that. Mm-hmm. And they said, quote, "Time to buy an old fastener factory and go back to work."
Now, my understanding on this survey, you guys do, obviously, it's an annual thing. You do it every year. It's based on like anonymous reports that your readers and people from the industry submit to you, and then you compile the information.
That's correct. All of the survey respondents are confidential, and you, of course, do not have to subscribe to Finn to participate in the survey. Mm-hmm. And it, of course, is not a scientific survey.
Right.
But at the same time, we get the sense that people take it in good faith,
Sounds like this is maybe the most positive one you've had in the last few years. Would that be fair to say?
Without a doubt, especially as it concerns the North American economy. People just feel very good, both distributors and manufacturers, about the next 12 months in the U.S.
Now, my understanding is you guys are going to be publishing this report at the end of this week. And will that be in the print issue and online, or is it how can people read it? Yeah.
Both places. It will be in the upcoming issue of Fastener Industry News, which will be in the mail by Friday of this week, and it will be posted online at globalfastenernews.com.
Okay, great. I know you guys also do a fastener stock index, the Fin Fastener Stock Index, where you're tracking stock prices of different fastener-related stocks that are traded publicly. What are the numbers telling us from the performance of that index last year and into the beginning of 2012?
Surprisingly, the Fin Fastener Stock Index, which tracks publicly traded companies with fastener holdings, it gained 9.5% in 2011. Compared to a 0.6% growth rate for an index of related industrial stocks. So I think investors feel confident in companies that deal in these kinds of products. This was a bit of a surprise to us, at least the disparity between how fastener stocks performed in 2011 versus other industrial stocks.
Yeah, well, that's good news for the fastener industry, which is hasn't been a common thing for several years. So
precisely,
glad to hear.
Long overdue, right?
Glad to hear that. How many companies are in this index?
There are 19.
Okay, good. Now, based on these end of the year survey, the Fastener Stock Index, and your day-to-day covering of the industry, do you have any predictions that you guys have for the industry in 2012?
All the indicators that we see are that those companies that were going to falter when the recession hit, for the most part, have, and that those companies surviving are leaner and focused on growth. And it looks like 2012 is going to be either as good or better than 2011 for the fastener industry.
Well, that's good to hear. I hope you're right. And that's kind of the sense we were seeing at the end of last year, and hopefully that continues through 2012. As far as prediction goes, do you have any predictions for the Super Bowl?
Well, I watched both games yesterday, both good games.
Are you a 49ers fan, being on the West Coast?
I think I always tend to root for the underdog. And I'm going to completely reverse myself because I was rooting for the Patriots in that game. So I think I thought that it would be interesting to see. I'm old enough to remember when Joe Montana still played for the 49ers. So I was pulling for them a little bit. More than anything, it was a good game, and that's all you can hope for. Be interesting to see. I mean, the Patriots are the early favorites, and I certainly enjoy watching Tom Brady play when he's playing at his best.
Right, 6th round draft pick.
Right.
All right. Good. Well, we're looking forward to that too, as I'm sure a lot of fastener people are. And I'd like to thank you for joining us today. Once again, the website where you can read about this report, as well as the stock indexes and all the news that you guys provide, is globalfastenernews.com.
That's right.
Okay. Thanks for joining us.
Happy to be here, Mike.
We've been speaking with Jason Sandifer, contributing editor of globalfastenernews.com.
Next up is today's top 8 Fastener Newsmaker headlines. Number 8, EJOT Solar Fastener Systems, a German provider of fastening solutions for rooftop solar installations, has reached a distribution agreement with Tanner Fasteners and Industrial Supplies in Brooklyn, New York. Number 7, the Fastenal Company of Winona, Minnesota, reported its results of the fourth quarter of 2011. Net sales were up 22%, while net earnings rose by 34% compared to the same time frame last year. Number 6, Scott Nowatzki has been named National Accounts Manager at Starborn Industries, a manufacturer of fasteners and related products for the building industry based in Edison, New Jersey. Number 5, Annixter International, a global distributor of fasteners, wire, cable, and other small parts, will report its final results for the fourth quarter of 2011 on Tuesday, January 31st. Number 4, industrial wholesaler Atlantic Fasteners has named Bruce Bonzi as its Director of Quality. Number 3, the FDS Group in France has acquired Canadian-based AGS Group, a supplier of fasteners, gaskets, pipe supports, and instrumentation to the Canadian market. Number 2, the National Fastener Distributor Association, NFDA, will host the NFDA 2012 Spring Meeting and Executive Sales Planning Sessions this May at the Chateau Elan in Atlanta, Georgia. And our number 1 Fastener Newsmaker headline today is that fastener machinery tooling and service supplier Loomis International is hosting an open house at one of its principal companies, RMG, in South Beloit, Illinois, From February 21st to 23rd, visitors will have the opportunity to see the latest cold forming and wire processing machinery and tooling. The main attraction of the open house will be a Nakashimada parts former. Visit loomisltd.com for contact details. Finally, let's turn to the back page where I will share some facts and thoughts on the Republican presidential primary elections. First, the facts. It takes 1,144 delegates to secure the Republican nomination for this November presidential election. There are 53 primary elections scheduled from January through June, one for each U.S. state and 3 more for Washington, D.C., Puerto Rico, and the U.S. Virgin Islands. The Republican nomination is officially made at the Republican Convention in August, and the election obviously is held in November. As of today, 3 of 53 elections are complete, and a grand total of 76 delegates have been awarded. The top guy, Mitt Romney, has 33. That's less than 3% of the total needed to get the nomination. These are the facts, which do not jive exactly with what the media and the political geniuses are telling us. We have talking heads like Karl Rove, George Will, and Bill O'Reilly running around telling us simple folks that the primaries are over or that Mitt Romney should be the nominee right now. They say nobody else can win, period. And I say, why not? Don't we have 53 primary elections with different demographics and opinions? Don't we get to see the candidates battling each other for victory? Who gets to decide? We the people or the clowns on TV? Do the stars of the news media and loud politicians like Chris Christie and Herman Cain think that we are too stupid to do this on our own? We don't need endorsements by politicians that either quit the race or never had the guts to run in the first place. I don't care what they think. I say let this process run its course, even if Mitt Romney is the winner. Let people do their own research and let them vote. All of this dictating of the future by the media and political talking heads is no different than the government telling us what to do, where to work, where to drill for oil, what to drive, what to eat, what to say, how to succeed, what is right or what is wrong. It's like deciding the Super Bowl teams after the first week of the season. A little bit of nonsense. This has been Mike McNulty of Fastener Technology International bringing you the Fastener News Report. Remember to send your news, pictures, comments, corrections, or complaints to me at McNulty@FastenerTech.com.
Up next is our feature segment with Mr. Mike Wrenn. Thanks for listening, everyone. It's Fully Threaded.
This season, the House of Beacon is pleased to offer its latest collection of nice threads, the Beacon Machine Screw. Sleek and metallic, sturdy and sharp, the Beacon Machine Screw is a revolution in cutting-edge style and clean lines, offering a modern twist on classic proportions. As with all our collections, thread forming, thread cutting, high-low tapping, SEMS and sheet metal screws, the Beacon Machine Screw may also be complemented by a RoHS-compatible coat, an absolute must in Europe and all other discerning corners of the globe. Don't be the last member of your industry to use Beacon Machine Screws. Call 800-669-2658 to request a full catalogue of all our nice threads. Or have one of our highly polished representatives assist you in finding your unique size and style. And should you fail to find the piece that suits you perfectly, Beacon Fasteners will proudly tailor it to your exact specifications. Be the envy of all your competitors with stylish new Beacon Machine Screws. Beacon Fasteners and Components. Nice threads.
When top quality and outstanding service are at the top of your list in fastener suppliers, turn to Stellfast. Since 1976, Stellfast has grown to become an industry-leading importer and manufacturer of the highest quality industrial fasteners, specialty items, and automotive parts. Our array of facilities across North America and in Asia, along with full quality control labs and ISO 9001-2008 certifications, ensure the highest quality parts, and at Stelfast, they're delivered with undisputed service excellence. We're family-run and dedicated to your success. Our customers have come to depend on the expertise of our staff and the quality of our products. We also offer a wide range of secondary services to meet some of the toughest requirements you might have. Contact Stelfast today through our website at www.stelfast.com and put us to work for you. Stelfast. Service you deserve, people you trust.
You know your screws and your brews. That's why now there's a beer brew just for the fastener industry. That's right. You drove all day to make that call. The beer you'll pour, it must be tall. Yeah. Old rusty bowl. Yeah. You sold those screws and bolts and nuts, and now it's time to fill your guts, that's clear. Old rusty boat. Yeah. Forget about cold filtered. Old Rusty's cold-headed for fastener people just like you. It's the beer that could have made Rockford, Illinois famous until we had to start importing some of the pure 100% natural ingredients that go into every batch. It's got that full-threaded flavor, but with a third less oxides, so you can keep enjoying Old Rusty long after the warehouse or show floors close down for the day. That's also why Old Rusty's available in quarter kegs and now in convenient pallets too. Keep it flowing, house. Old Rusty Bowl.
This is Ed Larson from Certified Products in Chicago, celebrating 25 years in business. You're listening to Fully Threaded Radio.
In January 2011, I was fishing for an interview with a major player in the fastener world. Our featured guest on today's show and I had communicated by email a few times after NIFS 2010 about doing an interview for Fully Threaded. But by January, I'd lost track of the conversation. What I didn't know at the time, as most of the industry did not, was that behind the scenes, Mr. Mike Wrenn, then of Heads and Threads International, was involved in one of the major events to hit the fastener world in a long time. And Fully Threaded Radio was probably one of the last things on his mind 1 year ago. But he's here with us now. Mike Wrenn, thank you so much for joining us, and do I have that about right?
It's my pleasure, Eric. I appreciate you having me on the show, and I'm glad we're finally able to connect after a year. It's good to be here, and happy to be able to talk about some of the things that transpired at Heads and Threads last year, and some of the new things that are going on today.
Well, thanks again for joining us. I know everybody's tuning in to hear some of that. And I will point out that our connection is a little bit dicey today. And one of the reasons for that might be that you're over in England right now. Isn't that right?
I am. I've been here a couple days. I flew in over the weekend, got here Monday morning, first thing in the UK, and got over my jet lag last night, and I'm raring to go.
So what brings you out there?
Well, I've been with Brighton Best now for about 6 months, and my role is really twofold. First, to work on opportunities to continue growing the business, and second, to find ways to continue to bring value for fastener distributors. In the first part of it, I get involved in a lot of things, some customer opportunities, which I really enjoy. I get involved in some of the new product launches here, and I get involved in some projects like what I'm working on here in the UK. I'm working with the team here, developing a sales and marketing strategy to help grow the business throughout Europe. In the second part of the role, we're looking for opportunities to help our customers grow their business, improve their margins, make more money, improve cash flow, and manage their risk. And a lot of these building blocks are already in place at Bright Invest. We've got a broad product line, we've got deep inventories, some great fill rates. We've got a website that's easy to use. We try to keep our prices consistent, and we're always working on our service. We've got a wide branch network throughout the United States and around the world. And we've got some great supply partnerships with some of the best global fastener producers. But I'm spending a couple weeks here in England right now, and it's an exciting time. It's a new market for me, and we've got a lot of growth opportunities. We're based in the UK. So we sell throughout the EU, and it's an interesting place to be. I'm learning a little bit about the market here. I'm getting to meet some of the customers and working with a team that's been in place here for several years.
Well, that all sounds good, and we'll talk a little bit more about what you're doing over at Brighton coming up. I wonder, before we move on to a couple other subjects, though, are you partaking of some of the fine dark beers they've got over there in England while you're there?
I am. I've found a nice bar just downstairs, as a matter of fact. I'm holding off. It's a little late here right now. We're 6 hours ahead of Chicago time, so it's about 10:30. But plan to head downstairs as soon as we're done.
There you go. Well, as I said, we'll get to more of your current role in a few minutes, but let's rewind a little bit. I really appreciate you coming on the show, as I said, and I'm sure you realize a lot of people are interested in what you have to say on the subject of heads and threads. At the same time, I also understand there's simply some things you just can't talk about right now. And I hope you can cover some general questions with us, though. Is that going to be all right?
Sure, I'd be happy to.
So let's get started at the top. How long were you with Heads, Mike?
I was with Heads and Threads for 25 years. So most of my working career was with Heads and Threads.
And you came to Heads with a solid accounting and finance background, isn't that right?
I did. I was started off my career as a CPA. I worked for at the time one of the big 8 firms. Did that for several years, and had a accounting degree and later an MBA, and then went to work for a small industrial holding company called MSL Industries. One of the companies they owned was Heads and Threads, and that's how I ended up working for Heads and Threads. Got my start there in the accounting department as the controller. Went on to become CFO, operations manager. Ultimately, I got in a sales role, and finally became CEO about 6 years ago.
Now, there are fastener guys and non-fastener guys, right? And I'm curious, in your mind, did you ever become a, quote, fastener guy, would you say?
Somewhere along the way, I think I did.
Was there kind of a lightning bolt out of the clouds at that point?
Yeah, you can't spend 25 years in the industry without becoming a fastener guy, I'm afraid.
How many does it take?
Well, probably by 10, you become one.
All right, I got a ways to go. Well, it's hard to believe it's been almost a year since news of HTI broke, and I'm quite sure you were involved in some of the things that were leading up to the big news, and I'm sure you had some ideas that things were getting dangerous for the company sometime before that. When did you actually realize that Heads might be in trouble?
Well, Eric, that's not an easy question to answer. It probably goes back to late 2008, though. A master distribution business, especially a large company with a broad product line and national distribution like Heads and Threads, requires a tremendous amount of capital to support the large inventories needed to service distributors.
Sure.
At Heads and Threads, we were heavily dependent on borrowing for that capital. And that worked well for many years, but at the end of 2008, with the beginning of the deep recession and the collapse of some of the large banks and severe stress throughout the financial industry, attitudes changed, lending standards changed. An important pillar of support for some threads was removed. We really struggled from that point on. We were able to keep the business going for another 2.5 years while we sought alternative sources of capital. But in the end, we were really never able to replace the capital that the banks took away, and ultimately were forced to begin liquidation of the business.
Right. Well, 2008 was definitely a hard year in a lot of ways for a lot of companies, and a lot of companies can point to that as the source of their hard times. But I'm wondering, is there any one thing in particular that you can identify that might have really, I don't know, something that you could have done differently as a company?
Well, I think there are certainly many things in retrospect that we would have done differently, would have changed. But the real source of difficulty for us was the fact that the banks just weren't continuing to lend the way they had before. Certainly the deep recession and the effect that had on profits only made that problem worse. And as I said, we explored a lot of avenues to try to keep the business viable and find new sources of capital to replace what we were losing from the banks. But in the end, we were just not able to make it work.
Right. I'm sure you have so many feelings about what unfolded over there, and I can only imagine. As you reflect on it all, is there any one part of the whole experience in particular that you find yourself thinking about most?
Well, it was a difficult time through the last several years, but in particular, the first half of 2011 were some very difficult months. We've enjoyed some great customer relationships through the years. We've got a great base of suppliers and a tremendous team of employees, and it was very difficult to disappoint all of them. And it was a very difficult year for all of our constituents at Heads and Threads, and I really feel badly for all the people that were impacted by what happened there.
Yeah, I could tell you there were a lot of shocked people. I'm on the phones all the time, and that's no secret. I'm sure you're well aware of that.
Absolutely, and obviously the phone was ringing constantly for about 4 months for me, and I spent most of my day on the phones, and obviously heard a lot of that myself. So very difficult time, very busy time. I can say that fortunately for the employee group, most of them ended up finding jobs fairly quickly. Many in the industry, so for most it worked out okay. The customers we were able to take care of for a while, and then they were able to transition to other suppliers. So I don't think the impact was as great there. Probably the biggest disappointment was on the supply side, where many of our longtime friends and suppliers did take a hit on what we owed them.
Right, I'm sure that was pretty painful. Well, as the smoke was clearing, did you expect yourself to stay in the industry?
I wasn't sure, honestly. I was very busy, primarily focused on trying to find ways to salvage a bad situation, and didn't have a lot of time to really think too much about that. When I did, I considered a couple of possibilities. Obviously, having as much time in the industry and the experience I have, it certainly hoped that there was a possibility I would stay. I've got a lot of friends in the business, and wanted to maintain the connections. And it's been a good place to be, other than what was in retrospect a relatively brief 2 months of hardship. But so that certainly was always in my mind that could be a possibility. But at the same time, when you go through a situation like this, you think of a lot of alternatives, and some of those alternatives could have led down other paths.
Right, and I completely understand why you might not have been thinking in those terms during all of that. I mean, it was a very dramatic time, and you had your mission in mind, which was to do the best you could for the company, so very understandable. But the stars seem to be in alignment for you, and before we kind of move on to the next chapter, were you surprised when, around the time of this year's Vegas show, there was an announcement of a reconstituted Heads and Threads? How did that strike you?
I was shocked. Actually, no, I was very surprised to hear that. I of course knew that the name and some of the intangible assets were going to be purchased by another party, but I really didn't expect the announcement that came out. That was a big surprise, and I was still surprised in Vegas when I ran into those guys and got an opportunity to talk to them.
A lot of people were surprised, and I'm sure you know that. Well, as I said, the stars seem to be in alignment, and you, next thing you know, were with Brighton. That was a big news headline that hit the industry. And how long actually after everything concluded with Heads did that happen for you?
It was about 3 days. My intention through all the months of pain and agony leading up to the close of the company was to take some time off, and I was hoping to take at least a month off, but it took a little longer than we expected to wrap things up. I guess these things always do, and I had already made an arrangement with Brighton Best, and I actually had to delay that for a while to finish up some things that had some threads, but didn't want to delay it too long. So I took a couple days off and started work at Brighton Best on August 1st.
Wow. Well, must be good to be a man in demand. You'll have to tell me about that someday.
Well, I don't know about that. But it's good to be played, I can tell you that.
Talk to us a little bit about your role over at Brighton Best.
Okay, well, as I said, I get involved in a lot of things, mainly revolving around growth of the business. And one of the things that has kept me very busy these past few months has been working on our new product launches. We've actually got a slew of new products coming out and new services as well. We've just made a major investment expanding our screw lines, our machine screws, tapping screws, self-drilling screws, drywall screws, and a host of other small screws and construction screws. I've been working a lot on the expansion of our metric line, and I think over the course of 2012, you'll see a lot of development from Brighton Best on the metric product lines. We've got a very big interest in that area. We already are selling a lot of that product because we do business internationally in Europe, Australia, and elsewhere. And we see a real demand for that in the States. So that's a big area for us, and I've kind of been spearheading that. In addition to that, we're bringing in a lot of other new products, B7 studs, flange screws, elevator bolts, coupling nuts, and acorn cap nuts. And we're really filling out of our low carbon lines, which we began putting in a couple of years ago. On top of that, we've been looking at services that we can provide in addition to what we've done in the past. So today we're managing large blanket orders for customers and contract business. We're brokering orders overseas. in the middle of last year, we opened up a mill department headed by Kelly Hommel out of our Cleveland office. So now we're quoting specialty fasteners, blueprint products, special plating, semi-standards, and on top of that, one of our most exciting new offerings, I think this is really unique in the industry for a mill program, is something we call our Ready Mill program. And what that is we have contracted with 5 factories in Asia, all nut manufacturers, and they've put product on the shelf for us, and we make that available through our website for our customers to build their own containers. And they can mix and match parts and sizes, and pricing is comparable to what they would see on a direct import themselves, but the product is on the shelf, so it's delivered in 4 to 6 weeks. And the price includes everything, handle all the logistics, and comes to the customer's door. And I think it's I've never seen a program like it, and I'm really excited about the potential. Right now we have just focused on nuts, but if we're successful there, I think we'll expand it to other product lines.
How long have you been running that program, Mike?
We really just launched it at the Vegas show, so it's really just been getting underway the last couple of months.
That does sound like something I think you're going to have some people watching.
These are things that I just mentioned are mainly changes, new offerings just in the in the past several months and the first quarter of this year. I think we're going to be looking at a lot more new products and services coming up. So the second quarter will bring a list probably similar to this.
Now, you're spending a lot of time in Europe. Is this an indicator that Brighton is also focusing itself into the European market?
Yes, absolutely. We've been doing business here for a long time in the UK, but the European market is a large one. It's as large as the United States, and the distribution model's a little different here, but we think that the Brighton model will translate well in Europe, and we think there's a lot of opportunity to grow the business here and frankly throughout the world.
Mike, I was going to save this question for later in the discussion, but since we've kind of swerved into it, since you're over there on the other side of the pond, as they say, are you picking up any vibes or any discussions about the whole situation in the EU? I mean, that has got to be impacting some of the decisions you're making.
Well, it is, and we've got some concerns about the economy. I think they certainly are under a lot more stress than what we see in the U.S. There's some indications that some of the countries are already sliding into recession. I certainly think it's going to be a difficult year in 2012 and perhaps beyond that. It doesn't really affect our plans very much. We still see a lot of opportunity for growth, regardless of the direction the economy takes. But it certainly is a concern, and I think it's clearly affecting not just our business or our industry, but the global economy. And obviously, a lot of the volatility we've seen in the U.S. stock market of late has been driven by the perception of what will or won't happen here in Europe.
Oh, 100%. Well, then kind of coming back to the U.S., do you see any trends in the fastener industry that could shake things up in the next year or two? I mean, what's in your crystal ball, Mike?
Well, I don't know about shake things up. I think the trends that I'm seeing and we're hearing about, especially from our customers, are generally very positive. Manufacturing seems to be very healthy again. Many of our distributor customers seem to be doing at least okay, and many are doing a pretty brisk business and are fairly optimistic. So I think the the economy and the fastener business in general in the U.S. are pretty healthy, despite what we hear on the news.
We're glad to hear that coming from you. We'll take all of that we can get. What about trends in technology? You are definitely leading the industry in that department, and is there anything that you can share with us that's on the horizon in the technology realm?
Well, at Bright & Best, we have a real commitment to technology, and it started with our website, and we're continually working on that, trying to make that more user-friendly, responding to requests from our customer base for additions to the web. And that's always a work in progress. And I think, we're going to continue to work on that, going forward and continue to develop that. That's one of the challenges, I think, that anybody that tries to develop a website for their business faces. It's one thing to put up a website and get it up and running and have it be effective, but then to continue to build on it and add to it, that's a real challenge for a lot of businesses. We're fortunate to have a team of people that do nothing but work on that and develop it, and so that's a great advantage for us, and we'll continue to push that forward. On top of that, there are a lot of distributors who are looking for ways to use technology to streamline their own businesses, whether that's through e-commerce or through technology related to their warehouse operations, and we're working with distributors on approaches to help them solve their problems. So if we can participate in that, we love to do it. We get our team involved in those types of things as well.
Well, I completely agree with you in terms of the ongoing development of a web application, and to call what you guys are doing, or even what we're doing, a website, that really understates it. I mean, it's a major undertaking, and anybody who's really trying to drive their business with their web presence knows that. Interesting stuff, Mike. Well, I know that it is getting pretty late there where you are, and
the bar is calling, Eric.
I don't want to keep you from that, and I do want to thank you again, but I'd like to get one more question in for you, like an exit question, perhaps, if you will.
Absolutely.
And that is that in the unlikely event that things don't work out for you over at Brighton, have you ever considered possibly going over to the new heads, asking them for a job?
No, that's not at the top of my list.
I didn't think so.
It's somewhere towards the bottom half of the list of possibilities.
Well, fortunately, that's not probably too likely. And enjoy what you're going to do downstairs in the hotel pub. And thank you so much once again for joining us on Fully Threaded, Mike Wrenn.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity to be part of the show. And let's hope 2012 is a better year than 2011. So a belated Happy New Year to you, Eric.
And to you also. Thanks once again.
Thank you.
Barring any unexpected new legislation that would prevent it, we'll be right back with the exciting conclusion of this episode of Fully Threaded Radio. When top quality and outstanding service are at the top of your list in fastener suppliers, turn to Stellfast. Since 1976, Stellfast has grown to become an industry-leading importer and manufacturer of the highest quality industrial fasteners, specialty items, and automotive parts. Our array of facilities across North America and in Asia, along with full quality control labs and ISO 9001-2008 certifications, ensure the highest quality parts, and at Stelfast, they're delivered with undisputed service excellence. We're family-run and dedicated to your success. Our customers have come to depend on the expertise of our staff and the quality of our products. We also offer a wide range of secondary services to meet some of the toughest requirements you might have. Contact Stelfast today through our website at www.stelfast.com and put us to work for you. Stelfast. Service you deserve, people you trust.
Hello, my name is Anne-Marie Hoftailing with the Hoftailing Group, and I am pleased this year to be working with PacWest Fastener Association to help its members have its best business year ever. My company is focused on sales and business development, and together we're going to help the PacWest Association members increase their bottom line through unique workshops, webinars, and yes, even some private consulting time. So make sure that you're engaging your membership benefits. Come to the events, enjoy the workshops, log on to the webinars, and give me a call, because this year we're going to make sure you have the most powerful sales force you've ever had.
Hi, this is Hugh Hewitt for the Injured Marine Semper Fi Fund, www.semperfifund.org. Over the past 7 years, twice a year, the wonderful people who operate the Semper Fi Fund and many amazing Marines who have been the beneficiaries of the charities that have supported the Semper Fi Fund, including many thousands of individual donors, have come into my radio studio to tell their amazing stories of serving their country, of being wounded, and how the Semper Fi Fund has helped them make that transition back to recovery. Unfortunately, Bethesda and Walter Reed are full again. More and more men and women are coming back from the war injured, sometimes awfully so. We need the Semper Fi Fund to be there for these Marines and those soldiers, sailors, and airmen who served alongside of them. Please consider a gift to the Semper Fi Fund. Very low overhead, extraordinary capacity to get money where it needs to get in a hurry, and great management, including some of the senior Marines who've ever served under the flag. When you're looking for something to do that will make an impact, please check out the Semper Fi Fund. That's www.semperfifund.org, www.semperfifund.org.
Once you're in this industry, you're not getting out. Good thing there's Fully Threaded Radio. Talk radio for the fastener industry.
This is JR from JHP Fasteners, the precision fabricators and distributors' #1 source. Come visit us and the Fully Threaded crew on Facebook and Twitter for the latest in fastener news and facts. You're listening to Fully Threaded Radio.
Brian and Eric, occupying the Fastener Talk radio space, getting ready to close out another precedent-setting episode of Fully Threaded Radio.
We should be wearing our Guy Fawkes masks.
You mean you're not wearing yours? I'm taking this thing off right now.
Yeah, I decided against bombing Parliament today. As long as FCH and Hulu are still online, you know, it doesn't seem worth it.
Yeah, and Apple's website too, don't forget. I mean, you need
right.
a reason to get up in the morning, right, Brian?
I know, I do. I've got to check on what's really going on in the world.
Yeah, at least we have to lay off any kind of activity like that till Mike Wrenn gets back from the UK.
Right.
I didn't ask him what kinds of dark beers he was imbibing in at the hotel pub, but I'm sure during his travels there, he's gotten to know a few of them pretty well.
Warm beers too, remember. It's Britain.
And it's still beer, though.
Yeah.
Well, it was very good of him to join us on the show today. I know a lot of folks were tuning in, possibly even some new Fully Threaded listeners, to hear what he had to say. And he didn't disappoint. He took a crack at a couple of the tough questions, I think, and, of course, got a good lick in there for what he's up to these days, which, man, that sounds very exciting, some of the things that they're developing over there.
Yep.
So thanks again to Mr. Mike Wrenn for joining us. Also to our other guests, Joe Poplinski of Beacon Fasteners and Components, Jason Sandifer from GlobalFastenerNews.com joined Mike McNulty of Fastener Technology International on the Fastener News Report today. Gentlemen, really appreciate that.
Yep, thank you.
Also, our title sponsors, couldn't do it without you, and they are Stelfast and Beacon Fasteners and Components. We also had Volt Industrial Plastics and Fastener Technology International, who were the sponsors of today's Fastener News Report. Thanks also to you folks. You're not going to want to miss our next episode. We've got Holden Lewis of BB&T Capital Markets. He'll be with us to report on the results of the first Fastener Distributors Index. That survey's going on right now, depending on when you're listening. He'll be joining the hyper-focused Mike McNulty on the next Fastener News Report, so don't miss it. And as always, please feel free to contact us. Reach out anytime. You can do that at the email address ftr@fullythreaded.com. And check out the Facebook page where we put some show notes and some of the links that we discuss on the show. We also make some attempts at attribution occasionally. We do borrow a few things here and there from the web. Never pirate, though. Never.
No. Oh, okay, right. And then, yeah, right. Otherwise, we'd have to wear our Guy Fawkes masks.
Yeah, nobody wants that.
Yeah, right. And also make sure this time, if you're one of the many people who just plugs your iPod into your computer or your BlackBerry and gets the latest podcast downloaded, go out to the Fully Threaded page because you'll see the Beacon offering out there.
That's right. Beacon is offering this crazy promo, and if you go to fullythreaded.com, the first time you load the page, the promo code will come up. Cash in on their machine screw special. They're crazy.
Right, Eric. Okay.
And finally, we're out there on Twitter. So if you're a Twitter person too, look for us out there. We're under the handle Fully Threaded. And doesn't it seem like almost every show now I always wind up saying at some point, speaking of Twitter, does it seem like that?
Yeah, it does. It does seem like that.
Yeah, well, here I have a chance to do it again. Got a great one for you this time, though. Back on, I think it was like January 17th or 18th or something, I saw one fly by, and it was having to do with Harry Mosier. He, of course, of the Reshoring Initiative. He'll be appearing at the MWFA dinner meeting, which is coming up on February 16th, and he actually was participating in a White House meeting of some kind. He got in a huddle with, I guess the president was there and some of the other luminaries there, and he did a blog on it, and that went out on Twitter. The link to that is up on our Facebook page as well. So if you go to the Fully Threaded Facebook page, you can jump on this. Really interesting stuff.
Oh, okay. That's good. We'll look forward to seeing Harry at our next meeting, actually.
Yeah, he's gotten a lot of traction since the last time we talked to him.
Right. He was, when we first struck him at the Midwest meeting, he was just starting at that stage, wasn't he?
Well, it just goes to show you a good idea will take off.
Yeah, good.
And another Twitterer of note since our last show. Oh my gosh, did you see some of Tom Buddenbone's stream of consciousness tweets that he was rattling off during the President's State of the Union address?
Oh, you mean the new James Joyce of the Twitter world?
Yeah, I think he wishes he could have been. Yeah, during one of them, he was lamenting the fact that they restrict the number of characters you use. But that didn't stop him from tweeting profusely. And I got one here that I'll read to give you an idea. This one came out, said, plans, incentives, relief, support, apply fair rules. All sounds like free stuff for all. Who pays for all this? Dang, I have a job. Guess me.
Right. And he's right.
Yeah, I think Tom had it all figured out from a long way back, though.
Yeah.
It's a good outlet for him.
Yeah, I think he was hoping that his own Texas governor was going to have some input into it, I think.
Well, you might be right there. And, we can't let an episode go by without a little bit of dalliance into the political realm. And there's another tidbit I got to drop out there for you, and that is that last week a new book by Mark Levin was released. Again, there's a link to this on Facebook. If you need some ammo to fight the fight that's before us, folks, and you're thinking the right way, get out there and check out Ameritopia. It's a new book, and I'm telling you, this thing is a powerhouse of intellectual fuel for your political leanings. And if you believe that somehow there's wisdom or virtue in the pursuit of bigger government and a more all-encompassing government, if that's your way of thinking, then this book will also give you a great way to solidify your understanding of that particular worldview. You'll get a real clear understanding of it.
I understand your copy was still sort of pretty warm off. It dropped off the printing press like a second before you got it, didn't it?
Yeah, I had to change my shirt because all the ink stains.
So how do we tie all of this back to the fasteners to close the show out?
Yeah, I hadn't planned that out, actually.
I'd actually figured that. Well, I'll just say to all the listeners that as long as you see the Fully Threaded Radio website is still up, you're free to download the show as much as you like, and we hope that you'll tell your friends to do the same.
And all at very low risk of fine or imprisonment. You should add that.
Oh, yeah. No thanks to our friends in Washington who prefer to see Soapapeepa unleashed on the world.
Right. That would be a very fastener-unfriendly event, my friend.
Nice fastener time. Well done.
Thought you'd like that. And that'll put episode 38 in the can.
Talk to you next time, everybody.
For Brian Musker, this is Eric Dudas. Stay off of those funky websites and get out there and sell some screws, folks. We'll talk to you next time.
Fully Threaded Radio is a production of Fastener's Clearinghouse. Music provided by Audionautics.
I can't think of anything else to say at the moment, okay?